I saw something that night that still haunts me. Keith, the sailor, stood on the shore, his eyes dark as storm clouds, staring at the Roman ships. I couldn't shake the feeling that we were standing on the edge of something terrible. It was a cold night in 43 AD. The wind howled like a lost soul, and the moon hung low, casting shadows that danced across the beach. I had come to gather driftwood, but the sight of those Roman ships anchored just beyond the rocks made my blood run cold. They were massive, with sails like great wings, ready to swoop down and take everything we had. Keith was the bravest man I knew. He had always vowed to protect our village. He was popular among the sailors, known for his fierce loyalty and stubbornness. But that night, a wild look came into his eyes as he watched the Romans prepare. He held a dagger in one hand, and the other clenched into a fist as if every muscle in his body was charging for battle. "Tonight, we take back what's ours," he said, his voice low and steady. I remember feeling both terrified and excited. The old tales warned us of the Romans, how they would take everything, leaving nothing but ashes. But Keith was ready to fight. As the first light of dawn broke, we gathered. A few of us were scared, but we trusted Keith. We slipped into the water, our small boats gliding like shadows. I could hear the Romans laughing and drinking, unaware of the storm that was about to hit them. Once we got close enough, Keith signaled us to move in. His eyes were pure fire. We attacked like phantoms, cutting through the darkness, our boats slicing the water silently. The Romans were too drunk to notice as we boarded their ships. The chaos erupted in seconds. Steel clashed against steel, and the air filled with screams. I fought alongside Keith, my heart pounding. It was chaos, but Keith was everywhere. With each Roman he took down, he seemed to grow stronger. It felt like he was feeding off their fear. It made no sense. But then I saw it. Something dark, deeper than the night itself, moved behind him. It was as if shadows twisted into one giant form, reaching out to pull him into the depths. I blinked, thinking it was just fatigue or the madness of battle. But it wasn't. Keith, now laser-focused, fought on. He had this wild intensity in his eyes, but when he raised his dagger to strike at the next Roman, something changed. Suddenly he stumbled, as if the darkness had leaped at him. I could see a strange, haunting look cross his face. "Keith!" I shouted, reaching for him, but it was too late. The shadow enveloped him, pulling him down as he screamed. It was a cry I'd never heard before, a mix of terror and rage. My heart sank. The Romans we fought, paralyzed in fear, took their chance to flee. When I finally looked back, Keith was gone. The battle ended just as quickly as it began, and we returned to shore, unsure of what just happened. The villagers rejoiced, but I saw their faces turn to confusion when I got back. They wanted to hear of our victory, but all I could talk about was Keith. To this day, I can still feel the chill of that night. As the years passed, I often wondered if we had really won. Sometimes, in the dead of night, I hear his battle cry echoing out over the waves, and I can't help but think that whatever darkness took him still roams the sea, waiting for the next sailor to claim.